Match 2, the Asia Rugby Emirates 7 Series, and it is the hosts, and for many, the hot favourites here, not just in China, but so too in Sri Lanka in the weeks to come. China, who were nigh on unbeatable on the World Rugby Challenger in staking a claim for the HSBC Sevens proper last year, taking on Indonesia. China in the red, Indonesia in the white. They are incredibly well drilled, immensely physical, and with searing pace as well. This will be a tall task for the Indonesians. Underway and collected by Indonesia. They build in attack but lose the ball. It's a series of knock-ons. Not the cleanest start from either side. So we restart with a scrum. Target the blind side before switching back. Yu sending it long into the hands of Ya Zhang. Tackled low and whipped right. Depth on offer from the Chinese, who explode onto the ball. Pass out the tackle, had to stoop to a knee to collect. A little bit of footwork, not much room to work with, and had to drag the Indonesian defender across the line with her. There was a lot to do there for Shinrong Du. But she gets it down, and China have the opening score of the match. Kick-off long, and pressure immediately on Sri Lanka. Playing within their dead ball, handling crisp though, and a lot of confidence as well, barreling into the challenges of the Chinese. It's a brilliant pick-up. One of those dropping just before the fingertips. And now it might be on wide. Sri Lanka stretching their legs, breaking free from their 22. The Chinese have made them work for it. Now the depth brings them back towards their 5. This time the hands can't bail them out as the pass dies at the feet. Promising play from Sri Lanka, but it's always going to be tough when you're doing it with the try line on your back. And this presents China with a prime bit of attacking real estate. Zhue Liu, bearing 27. Big blindside on the right to work with, goes open. Pass isn't ideal as the run had to be checked, and it's followed up by one that looks to be tumbling towards the touchline, but some fine footwork saves the day. That one's off the shins. It's messy from China, but it's still in their hands. The try is still in their destiny. A beautiful start-stop. Wrong foot's the last defender. It's not one that's going to go on the end of season highlights reel, but it is one that is going to be chalked up to China on the scoreboard. 2 tries, lead doubled, and the conversion to come. Nice strike, but sails past the right upright. China 10, Sri Lanka 0. The hosts for leg 1, leading the hosts for leg 2. Again, China applying the pressure with a long kickoff, and Sri Lanka got the ball down, but they did touch it in their missed control, so immediately finding themselves defending a 5-metre scrum on the other side of the post on this occasion. Again, that big blind side to work with, albeit with Liu finding it claustrophobic, and set upon the second sheet, picks up the ball. Just a hint of a jackal. Back to the narrow side, China probe. Outside, inside, big strength. Xiaojing Wang muscles her way across the line. Sri Lanka look to have had the measure of the tall Chinese back. But it's try number 3. And it has been all China, in truth, this half so far. It remains as we enter what is likely to be the final play of the half. Shin Rongdu, cleanly claimed on this occasion, fizzed into the path of an on-rushing centre, eager to make a dent. Ball lost backwards. China sharp to even a hint of a turnover. Lost at the base. And China in transition is a deadly prospect. Again, that stop-start from Wang. But on this occasion, not all the way to the line. Ball wobbles wide. Great claim. Slung wider. Bouncing back inside, and you can hear the home crowd roar and purr as Xue Liu gets on the end, running a trademark support line, as all good scrum halves do. Try number 4 of the first half, the last scoring it'll be, unless Shin Rongdu can slot arguably her trickiest effort from out wide. Pulled and short, so China will settle for the 4 tries, none converted, and they lead Sri Lanka 20 points to 0 at the break. Teams ready for the second 7 of the first game of the competition for Sri Lanka and China. It is the former who are trailing 20 points to nil and kicking off into the arms of the Chinese, and the 22 that they occupied for pretty much the entirety of the first half, and now they're looking to explore the other regions of the field in attack. The persistent, strong run from Li Xiang, and now China really expressing themselves. Rhythmic hands and elusive flowing feet. Another purr of approval as Ke Yi-shen cruises home for try number 5. This time, there is another pair of points to add to the ledger. China lead 27 points to nil. Eagle-eyed there, making sure that the Chinese chasers were behind the kicker, and they win the aerial battle, but Sri Lanka are first to the bounce of the ball. Real hint that China have gone in at the side there. And Sri Lanka get the call. Tap and go, but from the mark, called back, so that tempo that Sri Lanka are questing for, taken from them. Already seen their handling is strong. They've got some bruising runners out there as well. That's nice feet. And the presentation allows for the ball to move swiftly back to the right. There's the line against the grain. Splits the defence, but chasing back hard is Yu-Hu. And then Sri Lanka forced to hold on the floor. Oh, it's silky. It's so smooth. It's Wan Yu Wang. And it's try number 6 from China's number 6. China moves to 34. The lead's ever more commanding. There's a lot to love about the tries that have been scored by the Chinese, but I imagine what would be most pleasing to their coaches is the way that they've stepped up when called upon to defend. It hasn't happened too frequently, but the determination, the hunger, look at the red blanket rushing up to envelop the runners in white. Driven all the way back deep into their 22, Sri Lanka. They rebuild from deep, and again, the hands being stressed. The eye line perennially with a Chinese defender in it, and there's the error. That's the pressure that pays. Now China will look wide. Along the chain, one more to go, doesn't need it. Gliding home once more, Wan Yu Wang. Makes it a 7th try. China are putting on a clinic for their home fans here. Chen unable to shake that kick in. China's back to the halfway. China seek to pile more pain on the Sri Lankans, leading 39 points to nil. Not a big name on it, but falls on the Sri Lankan side. China going hard at that breakdown. Forces Sri Lanka to commit to and ultimately adjudged to have held on the floor. Chen is looking over to the sideline, looking for a bit of guidance, either from the coaches or from their teammates, and a call to go for the scrum. This is an opportunity for China to hone some of their attacking plays and platforms that they'll have to call upon as the competition progresses. Just a one pump. Good feet again. China's ability to stop and take off again and accelerate forward. This time, it's about the hands, it's about bouncing around and creating the room for the others out wide. And Zhu Min Wang is the beneficiary on this occasion. China move past 40. And they're scoring at will. Good effort, high effort, almost landing on top of the post protector. And committed Sri Lankan defenders strewn. China still able to make the score. Doesn't go 10. Arguably the only error coming from the Chinese in this contest. Again, a short line being offered by a big runner. Had joy from that. He mix it up and drop a kick in behind the Chinese defence. There's no sweeper at home. It's tantalisingly dribbling towards the line. Chen fly hacks it safe. There'll be no more tries, no more points. China have backed themselves plenty here in their opener. The hosts looking as red hot as their jerseys as they triumph over Sri Lanka, 44 points to nil in their pool opener here at the Asia Rugby Emirates 7 Series. Two undefeated sides in the pool take to the field next, and it is the hosts, China, who got off to a terrific start in their opener against Sri Lanka, taking on the United Arab Emirates, who are victorious against Malaysia. Here they come, the United Arab Emirates in grey and black, taking on the host China, all in red. And it was a regal performance from them in their opening matchup. 44-0. Not a point conceded. And 8 tries scored en route to their victory over Sri Lanka. For the UAE, it was a first victory against Malaysia since 2012. Some of the danger women for them, Sophie Shams, no doubt about it, Alex Cook, the captain, who is bouncing the ball in anticipation to get this contest going, is talismanic for the UAE. The captain, their driver, can she inspire the UAE to a famous victory against a richly talented China? Top of the table stuff early here on day one, and the hands see the ball find their way out into the 5-meter channel. There's so much variety to how the Chinese build their attacks. Width to width, stretching, asking questions of the structure, of the physical commitment of the UAE. And right now they're standing up well. A pass that stretches the fingertips just a shade too much. A knock on from Zhumin Wang. And an enormous early opportunity for the UAE here. In the Chinese 22. Enormous blindside out wide right. Instead they go to Cook at the back. The wraparound doesn't go to it. Does second time round and she gets caught in possession. Almost upended by Shin Rongdu. Oh, that's beautiful feet. Weaving back inside goes Mellish. UAE putting a bit of air on it. The ball just being released from the grip. A beat too late as Amanda Hamian came searing on from the touchline. That rhythm between her and Stephanie Enyi Amina not quite there. Promising early signs though. But the Chinese will just keep coming, slaloming. Taken, tackled, no way through. UAE reform, China rebuild, and this time they've got a bit of glide in their stride. The late switch comes in, and it's a tackle that absolutely had to be made from Georgia Barber. Passing not totally on the money from China, and the attempted kick is charged down. His hands all over it at the bottom. Bit of danger around the fringes, and then some footwork from Jia Liu. Oh, it's tepid tackling from the UAE, having worked so hard to shut China out. A couple over chasing and arms outstretched. And Shin Rongdu punishing the UAE. Du Shinrong makes absolutely sure from in front, and it's China leading the UAE 7 points to 0. Here come the UAE, building from far deeper this time. Those jackling intentions evident from the Chinese. We saw it in full flight in their first game, and again, a bounce back inside, wrong foots the defence who were tracking across. Ruthless, utterly ruthless from the Chinese. Du Xinrong the first time, Zhang Li the second. And with another conversion sailing over in a flash, the UAE trail 14 points to 0. Well, clear the decks. They don't want to be playing any rugby in their own 22. China really do have a policy of swarming opposition and latching upon any error. Nil, 90 seconds or so to go. That one very much under scrutiny as to whether it was straight or not. The bullet to the player coming from deep, far too much on it to take cleanly, and a bit of advantage for the UAE to work with here. Pack with ball in hand, and most importantly back in the Chinese half. Haven't been here for a while, since their early incisions. Tumble forward, takes a few more meters beyond the 10. Cook has to check herself. Scooped up. Oh, beautiful feet. Cook sees an opportunity, sells the dummy, gets scragged. There's Shams. Amina, well, the power of the woman evident, with 3 Chinese defenders having to work together to drag her down. But as soon as one player is isolated for a millisecond, Chinese hands are swarming, and then they're tapping, and then they're going. And the UAE need to be careful that they don't concede a late score here. No roll on the bottom. Ah, the tap, how close to the mark was that? China, their quick thinking and their crisp handling, punishing the UAE ruthlessly here. Du Xinrong bookends the scoring, having opened it with the first try of the match. And she'll be in no hurry to traipse back and compose herself in a bid to make it 3 conversions from 3. Well, the fatigue of the first half getting to her third and final attempt, but it is still a strong opening 7 minutes from the host. China leading the UAE 19 points to 0. The hosts take their time. They deliberately take position as Du Xinrong gets the second half underway. China leading the UAE 19 points to 0. And Cook puts a bit of distance between the ball and the UAE try line, and it's a very, very good touch. Well, thrown over just as the UAE were forming the line. The knock-on eventually comes, so ultimately the UAE will restart with possession as Alex Cook just looks for a law clarification in the most diplomatic manner possible. An integral part of the team that delivers the Emirates Dubai Sevens so fantastically every year. Alex Cook, content creator for World Rugby, which is the reason that your social feeds often look so good. She and her teammates are looking to add a few tasty tries to the algorithm today here against China. Again, they go for the wraparound. Again, trying to read it. It's Madison Mellish, who was the one scrad. Alex Cook is standing on ceremony. Mina, nice late change in direction. Not held, but opts to present instead of getting up for more. Here's a bit of pace, here's some power. Sophie Shams only had eyes for the contact. No knock on. Again, no sweeper. And this one, they can get on their bikes, they can get after. Whoa, was there a foot in touch? That's as close as it gets. Yi Shenji taking it to the wire. And the UAE need to regather themselves. Shams flies up. No one's at home on the right edge, and it's a brilliant tackle. A try saver. Is it a momentum swinger? Cook, he made that hit. Then first to the loose ball. It's a lung-busting passage. Can't remember the last time the ball was dead. Scooped up to Tara Cooney. She impressed in the opener against Malaysia. Advantage for the UAE. Popped into the path of a human, hurtling for a hole. Lifted over the top. But Shams couldn't gather it cleanly. And just as they'd managed to break down, the relentless Chinese, the opportunity goes begging, and you can see just how hard some of the lungs are working out there. Abby Ridout, Jessica Harris onto the field. Ji Shenji replaced, and Han Jun needs a little more height out wide at prop. Stable platform for China. Skip inside that hard covering defence once more. And just as it was their undoing in the first half, the UAE guilty of slightly over chasing. And Wang Yu guilty of surgical-like precision in carving them open after drifting back inside. China 26, the UAE 0. They're zeroing in on a score not too dissimilar to their opener against Sri Lanka. It hasn't felt anywhere near as dominant from China. China, let's not forget, last summer came 6th in the Olympic Games. Fiji defeated, Great Britain defeated. And they pushed France all the way in the 5th place playoff. So this is no flash in the pan women's programme. It's one with real class. Competed at the 2020 Tokyo Olympics as well. So some women in the Chinese ranks, 2-time Olympians. And they're showing some international and 5-ring pedigree right here. Bit more comfort on the ball, bit more confidence, and that is a pass that every winger dreams of. Flying on, stride unbroken, and the try that really, truly puts the game to bed. Chen Kei-yi. Scores, doesn't convert, but China are 31 points to the good with less than 90 seconds to go. Ball eventually travels 10. UAE find themselves being elevated in the contact. Ball stuck in there. And China will restart through a scrum. Liu Shuya just embeds herself, and across comes Hu Yu. Another pacey arrival causes a dent in the midfield. Switch comes across. Again looking to wrong foot the UAE defence. On the inside, the turn of pace from Wang Yu is something to behold. She barely looks like she's trying. A really breezy, easy style to watch. And it's one that's delivered her a few tries personally, but China plenty. And they defeat the UAE 38 points to 0. They took every opportunity that came their way.
China, 5 to the good already. Form and history would suggest that this one is all there for China. Untidy kickoff reception, but they do find a way to move the ball right to the edge. Kick coming in, but the whistle having already blown. Situation as it stands, barring an absolute mathematical deluge and miracle against China, they'll be heading through as the pool toppers, and they're looking like they're going to do so in killer fashion. The hands created the space, and then the footwork and the speed and balance of the running just allowed her to pick her spot almost. Malaysia set themselves for another kick off. Wow, allow it to bounce and get fortunate. It is a cruel and untrustworthy beast, the bounce of a rugby ball. It's an excellent kick. No 50-22s in sevens, it should be pointed out. But still, excellent pressure reliever and territorial gain. Beautifully claimed. Then the wraparound from Liu. And there's a lot of room. There's a lot to defend. The ball inside, uncharacteristically dropped by Wang Shumin. So often you see clunky handling like that, especially off a launch play. It was crystal ball off the top as well. But Malaysia in rare waters, not just for them, but for any side who play China in the 22, set piece to launch. And Nur Iza Azizan just directing and dictating the traffic outside her. Poised. Got to win the ball back first, and goes in the tunnel and straight back out. So that'll be a reset, and it'll be a Malaysia ball. One thing about the scrum is that the ball must go in and be struck by the hooker to come out the backs of the legs of the trio in the scrum. It can't go in the tunnel and out the other side or out the one it came in. The ball was perfect for Sam Subahari to accelerate onto, but it is an intimidating presence. That Chinese blitz defence rushing up and arriving fast on your horizon, just maybe taking her eye off the ball. The resulting scrum sees Liu in a position to instigate one final attack from depth. To the left they move, and again the handling lets them down. That's Du Xin Rong, who usually does no wrong. So some lethargy and some ring rust for the Chinese to talk about come the half-time huddles. They'll hope to be heading in 10 to the good. But from almost a carbon copy position, albeit mirrored on the other side of the field, this time the right flank, Malaysia have that chance once more. Clean strike and clean ball. Nice tactic, trickling a ball in. It's untidy, it's uncomfortable for China, but they may have just about dealt with it in the end. What if they'd gone wider? China were defending very narrow. Ball tossed up. It does feel a little bit loose from the Chinese. That's a lovely bit of footwork. Darting in and then bouncing back off. Clear picture shown to the referee of the jackling intent, but you've got to lift the ball as well. You can't just lie on it. So ushered away, and China, it's their turn to put the kick in. Here's Azar. Well, had options to the left and right, had Sam Subahari in support, but confronted with the wall of black jerseys, opts for the salvation of the touchline, and Malaysia go in at half-time, trailing China 10 points to 0. Malaysia trailing by 10, but showing signs of progress in the latter stages of the half. Spent much of it here in the Chinese 22, albeit at the other end, but refreshed and reinvigorated from some, you'd imagine, critical half-time words. They haven't been at the high levels that they demand of themselves, China. They come out flying. Shape to kick over the top, then backs herself to sear inside. The arrival, the timing, the support. Oh, that is a try to savour for the Chinese. All the best elements of their game wrapped into one move. The icing on the cake coming from Wang Yu. So within a minute of the restart, China stretched their lead by another 7. They came here with a big reputation. They came here as the reigning champions after victories in South Korea and China last year. The only competition they failed to win was Bangkok when they lost out to arch rivals Japan in the final. But the Olympians from Paris and from Tokyo have come out firing plenty of shots in these opening 3 games today. Yet to concede a point. 82 plundered prior to this game, so they're sitting pretty on 99 at the moment. The pool toppers and one of the best runners up from the 3 groups of 4 heading to the semi-finals. He needs a lift when he could just ping it to the front. Work smarter, not harder. The philosophy employed by China on that line out. Malaysia screeching up to cut off the options. They do just about, but already there was advantage being played. Some replacements inbound from the touchline, and also some forwards to set for a scrum. You can see the height profile of both teams. It's a vast difference. Malaysia giving away an enormous amount of height, but also weight too. Sometimes that can act as a positive. The lower body positions able to get underneath. It's a telegraphed crash ball, and Malaysia dealt with it with a good tackle. Now it's whipped to the right. Now it's whipped out to one of the speedsters. Zhang Ya, foot to the floor, leaves the Malaysian defenders grasping at thin air. Well worked. The hit up through the middle, the quick recycle, and then the width in a flash. Beautiful strike. Oohs and ahs of approval from the crowd in here in Hangzhou. And a couple more for the Chinese ledger as they pass 100 points scored on the day. Still yet to find themselves conceding a solitary point. Wrapped up is Etonius. Malaysia just spot a glint of light down the 5-metre channel, but no sooner do they dart for it, is it snuffed out by watchful Chinese defence. Taken to the line. Almost to the 22. Back to the left. Has to stretch to take it. Now 1-on-1. Ah, gritty, nuggety defence. Gets a bit of help from her friends. A lot of Malaysian jerseys sucked in there. Could create space. Out wide to the right now. It does. And it's punished. Chen Kei. A quality finisher. And all that width, all that room to work with. There was only going to be one outcome. Another try to China. And a conversion now to move them past the 30-point mark. China, it should be said, are doing all this without one of their superstars, Liu Xiao Quan, who has been an absolute try machine over the years in the World Rugby Challenger. But it looks like there is a pretty high caliber conveyor belt of try scoring talent following in her wake. Wang Yu, who got on the end of that try to commence the scoring in this second half, latching onto another, this time out wide left. Last act of the match is a well struck and almost converted kick, but China will have to settle for 34, and they will settle because they've topped the pool, they haven't conceded a point, and they're off to the semi-finals tomorrow. Full time, China 34, Malaysia 0.
Now of the cup competition, starting in the women's side of the draw. It's China, it's Thailand, it's the hosts against the team which qualified as the best second place finisher in the group. And China with such a strong squad. They include one of the top try scorers of recent seasons for China in Chen Ke-yi, number 7. Watch out for her. For Thailand, they have their own talents, particularly number 6, Nunchaporn Yodya, and number 8, Wanari Michok. Thailand finished second in their group, just behind Hong Kong, China. The People's Republic of China are such a formidable outfit in women's sevens. And they have so much experience from the elite circuit. Chen Ke-yi kicks off. First women's semi-final in Hangzhou. And it's the hosts who are putting early pressure on in defence. Chen Ke-yi looking to hold up Thailand. And they win the penalty early on. The stands alive for this Chinese team. The rain having stopped as well. Still a bit greasy underfoot, but easier to play expansive sevens right now than it was an hour ago. Strong platform. Spun down by Du Xinrong. Tackle from the back, which would have been felt as the Chinese player fell to the floor. Here's Du Xinrong. Picked up well by Ma Xiaodan. Penalty Thailand. And they can look to challenge the Chinese. Lovely shape to the dummy from Thailand's number 10, Nadathip Manasai. That's Michok, wearing number 8. she's had a very good competition again. And she points out to the referee that her teammate needs a new contact lens. China in great form yesterday, as you can imagine. 3 victories from 3 against the UAE, Malaysia and Sri Lanka. No points scored against them whatsoever. And they scored over 30 against both UAE and Malaysia and over 40 against Sri Lanka. Meanwhile for Thailand, they had a 27-0 win over India, 60-0 against the Philippines, and a 21-17 loss to Hong Kong, China. Slow down to proceedings after the injury. But now they'll go back to it and the pace will start to increase again. Michok kicks this ahead. China beginning from just in front of their 5-metre line. Good chase from Thailand. Back to the left-hand side they go. Zhang. It's not gone forward. Good hands from China. Support on the inside as well. Chen Ke-yi keeps it alive. Thailand landing shots here though and forcing a knock-on. That is committed and well-read defence from the Thais. Good performance this so far against the hosts from Thailand, making sure that they're not giving anything over easily to the host nation. China and Japan having both gained experience and plenty of it on the World 7 Series. 2 standout nations on paper. Thailand, however, giving as good a run for China's money as possible at the moment. Wandi in scrum half. Monori Michok plays it away. Good break through the very middle of the park. Nawakawa. And they're sucking China onto them, but China accepting that challenge and now holding up the player. It was turned into a maul initially, but now it's just effectively a tackle. But it was made into a maul by the second Thai player entering, then leaving. And that's why China get the ball back, because the maul was called and they'd held that up. Fed into the back. China pick it and go. Now the speed is upped. Are we going to see them hit their stride properly for the first time? The charge towards the line is thwarted by Thailand. They get back in good numbers. Chen Ke-yi is waiting for it on this side and she'll get it, but she's knocked into touch in the process. And Thailand keep on closing doors on this formidable Chinese outfit. It's terrific defence. It's coming at a cost for Thailand. They're having to dig so deep and they're taking some body blows whilst doing it. But they are frustrating and thwarting China, and there is every chance that if they keep doing that, they have a realistic hope of making the final. Need to find each other here. China are so good at seizing on mistakes. There can be none if they are to come through this semi-final. And there can be none if they are just to get out of this position on the field. Little bit of space found here. That's brilliantly done. That's relieving the pressure. Huang Kid tries to smuggle that backwards, but she's told she's done that illegally. China's called the scrum. Had the penalty, but want to go for the scrum. Line out in these conditions is a little riskier, so it's a smart move. Solid, and the platform from which to go, and the backline move does find Chen Ke-yi in the end, but she's knocked it on in contact, and it wasn't the slick, well-timed manoeuvring and passing from China that we might expect. It's been Thailand's half so far. Thanachporn Wandi to feed the scrum. Last play of the half. Wanari Michok sends this downtown and sends a couple of chasers after it. What does the bounce do? It's bouncing around. Thailand might get this back. China working hard to bring it under control, and they get the scrum. But that'll be half. And Thailand ending it as the team in the ascendancy, against the odds. The first women's semi-final of the cup competition is looking for the first scorer. China and Japan, the two nations on paper who are favourites for the Asian Rugby 7 series overall on the women's side of things. And here in Hangzhou, though, you might put the Chinese as favourites, given the home effect. And here they've got the crowd roaring in approval. The first score incoming for the Chinese. They go the length. And the try scored by Wang Wanyu. A lovely move from China, characteristic of their precision off a set piece. And their fitness levels to see that one home in these heavy conditions. They are like a team of track stars, this Chinese team. Everyone has a sprinting pedigree behind them. But in these kind of conditions, it's hard for teams to benefit from their faster players. Conditions are able to level things off a little bit, and speed doesn't become quite the asset that it is in the dry. Power becomes a little more important in these types of days on a sevens field. But China have made their athletic prowess pay there for the first score. Thailand under pressure in defence, well lined up. Manasai. And they feel the need to kick to relieve. China get it straight back, however. And China move it out to the edge. And Chen Ke-yi escapes. Looks for a big fend. And then has to go looking for friends to help her out. Good press from Thailand. That's a nice step on the inside, however. China unpicking Thailand again. Zheng Li. Pass now from Ma Xiaodan. Chen Ke-yi again. That's fine work from the number 7, and China are going to be scooting home through the wet and the rain and scoring with Du Xinrong. Chen Ke-yi and Du Xinrong together, carrying so much experience. And a combination which yields the second score. The 7 series insignia on the right arm of Chen Ke-yi. If any of her opponents were in any doubt as to her and her team's calibre, that's a reminder. Good height on this. Difficult for Thailand to know what to do with it. In the end, they have no choice. And the hits keep on coming from China. They are lining up these yellow jerseys, seeing life clearly, and then robbing the ball and getting it back. Wang Wanyu taken down a couple of metres short. Ma Xiaodan. Du Xinrong Chen Keiyi's on the edge here again. Is she going to finish this herself this time? She does. The woman who does this more often than anyone else in Chinese colours scores again. And that's a pinpoint restart from Chen Keiyi too. Taken well though by Thailand. Taken forward by Dion Akwaya. Penalty at the contact point. And China have stamped their authority all over this second period. They are heading for the final. Hong Kong, China and Japan in action next up on the other semi-final lineup. And then after that, the two men's semi-finals that follow. Again, Hong Kong, China and Japan both in the mix there too. Chinese men as well. And then Sri Lanka as well, featuring in the top four for the men's competition. Chen Keiyi storming forward, and no one within touching distance of her. She gets a second, and they are looking every inch the high caliber machine that they are, this Chinese team. It's all clicked in the second half. Off the boot of Chen Keiyi, but not on the scoreboard. 22-0. Just 10 metres. Again, well timed. Now, Thailand on the breakout. And surely here, their first points in the last play of the game. It's Dion Akwaya from the restart. Outpacing everyone in the Chinese ranks. And Thailand get a score at the very end of the match. $22 to 5. It will finish for China. They are through to the final later on today. The first team to book their place in it. 22-5 against Thailand.
Time for the final. China versus Japan for women's glory in the Asia Rugby Emirates Sevens Series in Hangzhou, China.
Please be upstanding for the national anthem of the People's Republic of China.
Two proud nations, two fierce, fierce rivals, and unequivocally the two best in the competition this weekend. But what goes before will mean nothing to either of these sides if they can't emerge victorious in the now. Both China and Japan have been scoring tries at will this competition. The likes of Saigusa and Bodnam raining tries in from a Japanese perspective, while Du Xinrong is the beating heart, the creator, the try scorer. Everything good goes through China's number 15, but she has some supporting cast with her, the likes of Qi Yin-chen, Yu Hu, and Wan Yu Wang as well. Best kicker of the weekend, Michio Suda, lines up and sends it high for her teammates to chase. Good hit comes in. Bodman defending the short side, grabs away. She'll get called in to put a hit here on Xi Ying-chen. China in red, Japan in white, and oh, it's a delicious line from guess who? Du Xinrong, who can do no wrong this weekend in Hangzhou. An opening break and burst from China's go-to women at the opening score of the final. Yu Chen slots the extras China lead Japan 7 points to 0. Yu Chen sends one that's going to come down with stardust on it in this Chinese night sky, high and hanging, and Bodman handles it well. Japan, first sight of them with ball in hand, not held in the tackle, so is allowed to get back up and go for more. Koide battling, thrashing through, but a risk of being held up here. 3 women in reds clamp round. More calls, and that's a brilliant result. It was Yoshino who took it in, and it was Yoshino who got physically dominated by a whole gang of Chinese defenders. Yuhu travels. Japan passive in their defense. They allow themselves to drift onto Yu Chen. Du Xinrong is there, gives it to Ziying Chen. Chen almost fighting her way to the line. Japan, who trounced Hong Kong China in the semi-final, didn't concede a point. Whilst China had their work cut out against Thailand, 21-5, they eventually triumphed. But they're really at the races early here against Japan. That's a mean hit. Driving and surely playing it on the floor. China lucky to maintain possession as Yuhu dances back inside. Shows great power as well. 2 Japanese defenders hanging off her. And the deftest of transfers to Xiaodan Ma. Ma makes it 2. And it's been a turbocharged start to this final from the hosts. China 14, Japan 0. The Japanese yet to truly fire a shot. Remember, China 6th at the Paris Olympics. Last summer. This is a rugby nation on the rise. There are streaks ahead of the competition on the World Rugby Challenger. When competing the last couple of years, when they've stepped up to the HSBC Sevens proper, they've more than held their own. Japan, for what it's worth, have been playing an exhilarating brand of rugby on the same series, but as proper members. The whole thing restructured though. And Du Xinrong, uncharacteristically, releases a pass that doesn't find a teammate. Real competition in the air. Oh, and Just a lapse of concentration as the ball came down. Japan under pressure. China pouring through and surely scoring. Yes, they've got a third. It's been a swarming performance from the women in red, and I think it's Ziying Chen. He managed to pick the ball up and flop across after her forwards poured through. A nice strike, but sent left of the uprights. For China leading 19 points to nil. Just one play left of this first half, and Japan needs something. If it's not points, they need a promising passage to reinflate their confidence, because it's been all China. A gift, though, from Kei Chen, out on the full, and a free kick to restart for Japan. Oh, how about that for a bit of contact? Collision out wide in the 15. Bodman, so strong and gnarly. Doesn't get much change out of her run. The dancing feet in the midfield, challenging the red jersey shoulders. They repopulate their defensive line. Japan asked to work out how to break them down again. Dummy switch. Ball squirts free from the back of the breakdown, and it's really fast hands. A defensive read. The feet. Now it's all forward pass there at the end. Japan had done all the hard work. Michio Suda and her final ball to Mayu Yoshino. Just easing forward, and just as you thought Japan might strike late, it's half time and it's China in complete command, 19 points to nil. China in the box seat, one hand on the trophy, looking to reclaim the title that they made theirs last year. They were winners in South Korea, winners in China, but it was Japan who got the better of them in Thailand, and a missed timing from the kickoff, taking the player out in the air. Ziying Chen Yellow carded and sent to the sin bin for the next 2 minutes. Is this Japan's chance to get back into the game? Ball in the hands of Hana Nagata. Moves, asks for the switch, doesn't deliver it, continues to travel a little laterally. She wanted someone to straighten up on her, and eventually she gets it. Japan wrapping round that left-hand corner, and a timely duck to avoid the challenge, and also, most importantly, stay in field. Japan building nicely. It's much more of a spring in their step. Bodman, very direct. She accelerates, isn't held, releases anyway, and then goes back for more. 2 red jerseys, stop her in her tracks. Big gaps to target. Oh, a javelin of a line from Michio Sula. Pierces the Chinese midfield. The kick goes over, and Japan are right back in this final. Kei Chen claims the kick, and then where's the contact? China still down to 6. Remember, oh, it's an intercept. The final turned on its head in an instant. Sakurako Yazaki, a thief in the Hangzhou night, has changed the complexion of this final entirely. The conversion sails over, and we got a 5-point game and plenty of time for a comeback now. The most costly of yellow cards right now for China and Ziyin Chen. Japan reinvigorated, re-emboldened, and chasing these kickoffs harder than ever. Kei Chen dances around before sticking her head down and carrying into contact. Japanese defenders hungrily hunting red jerseys as China keep it narrow. Wang to Hu. Hu explodes through that gap. China all of a sudden look very stodgy, very limited. One out passing, the second barely making it 5 meters from the ruck. Almost as if China are waiting for Japan to infringe. Or they try and trap the Japanese player down there. Then they pick and drive round the corner. It's a curious style that they're employing. But they've drained 1 minute and 15 seconds from the clock. Surely they can't continue in this vein. They pick and go again. Anti-sevens being played by China, and the counter-ruck knocks the ball from the grip of the Chinese. And now the yellow card comes back on, so 7-on-7. Zhao Dan Ma, try scorer in the first half. In at prop. Stable platform for Japan to work with. And a piercing line held and almost ragdolled by Du Xinrong. But Japan keep coming. The ball is getting quicker and quicker, and so too the nature of their attacks and the lines that they're running off their playmakers. Footwork, such variety to the attack now, but China holding firm. That's Mizutani, full-blooded, clear out, just as China look like they may pounce with a pilfer on the deck. No meters being made, plenty of phases. China proving stubborn. But this might work now, almost a dog leg. Again, China evidently looking to hold the Japanese players up. Bodman gets shut down immediately. She's a different physical proposition to a lot of the other attacking threats that Japan possess. Nice feet from Yazaki. Clock ticking away. Japan just about into the 22, but they've had to fight tooth and nail to this point. Testing the line, asking for runners, gets one, acceleration, exploding into the gap, and a bone-crunching hit from Kei Yin-chen stops the attack in its tracks. Then the counter-ruck, but China, over-exuberance, they lose their discipline, they give away the penalty, and now the hands of Japan unlock China out wide, and we're level in the final. 19 unanswered points from Japan. Sakura Mizutani sliding in for the levelling score. And now the burden of responsibility falls on just one pair of shoulders. Oh, it cannons off the upright. A stunning attempt. But no good. And China and Japan are locked, 19 apiece. A wobbly kick-off. It was almost Japan who caught a Chinese player in the air. Japan have done all the hard work to get back level, but can China rally themselves? They have the decibels of a home crowd here to cheer them to that point. Du Xinrong caught woman and ball, and it's a really tough one. A judge to have not released in the tackle. Or was the kicker taken out? It was an unusual coming together. It's play on the call. China continue to hunt the Japanese, now playing in their own half. It's the first time we've been here all half. A Jekyll and Hyde final, and the hooter blows. Time's up, one final play. Will Japan do it in normal time, or will we go to extra time? Bodman breaks free. Bodman, neon pink boots, lighting up the turf here at the death to break Chinese hearts in Hangzhou. The footwork just to skip through the initial half hole that was left, and then the pace and endurance to get the job done. Bodman the hero. Japan with a Herculean comeback from 19-0 down. They have won this final, 19 points to 26. A remarkable game of rugby. Japan, the Asia Rugby Emirates 7 Series champions here in China.